Marjorie Taylor Greene. If I have to hear that name going out of my mouth another time, which I will, but she said something in a recent interview, and I'll actually show you her saying it, and then Rick Scott also in a recent interview that we previously looked at in today's show, conveying a similar idea. And what it is this feeling and belief, or at least dishonest justification for many people on the right for their election denial, that, hey, it's okay for me to deny the election results because a lot of people in the country believe the election was stolen. And if you don't already understand when I just say that to you, why that's such a, how do I say this? Such a not smart idea to have, let me explain it. So just purely people believing something is not necessarily any indication that it's true, right? For a very long time, everyone on the globe pretty much thought the earth was flat, and then we figured out it wasn't. So it's not necessarily the case that if a lot of people believe something, it has any validity or any grounding in truth. But separate from that, I do think it's important for politicians to listen to their constituents. So why is it still not significant, or it is significant? Why is it still not an indication that she should believe the election was stolen? And we're going to look at this clip. It's bonkers, but let me set it up properly. Why is it still very bizarre to claim, listen, all these people believe the election was stolen, so me as a representative also am going to believe that? Well, because you're the one who made them believe that, you goof. You, Trump, and all these people propagandized these individuals into believing the election was stolen. And now you're turning around and telling us it's okay for you to believe that because they believe it? But what? That is insane. I'm trying to think of a good analogy. It's like I steal something from you and then say it's okay that I stole it from you because I stole it from you because I have it already. It's just circular. Yeah. Makes no sense at all. But here it is. I admit that was not a pre-thought out metaphor. I apologize. It wasn't great. I try my best, guys.
I think the Atlanta paper tells me about 10 days ago you were still insisting at a Trump rally in Arizona that Trump won the 2020 election, and it says that you are.
And yes, I recognize that this interview looks like it took place in like 20 years ago. Why is it a square? Don't we have rectangular televisions by now? And that video quality is tough, but continuing.
One of his biggest allies.
I am always proud to support President Trump, Judy. I'm so grateful for the way he led our country with his America First policies. I miss him very much being our president, and so do a lot of people. And I say all the time, I really feel like he won the state of Georgia, and I do think he won the 2020 election. But you want to know something? It's okay for me to say that because a lot of people feel the same way.
Nice. Hey, what's your proof for believing the election was stolen? Which, when you're a congressperson, is a pretty big thing to claim. Listen, a lot of people believe it, so it's fine. That's actually the wording she used. She said, but listen, it's okay for me to believe that because a lot of people believe that, or something like that. Wow, that is a bummer, because then you really can do whatever you want as far as politics goes. Get a big following, tell them to believe something, and then say it's okay for you to believe it because they believe it. But they believe it because you believe it. And he believes it because she believes it. Like, what the heck is happening? You're getting a migraine over there?
Yeah.
But it's not just the very, like the caricatures of a crazy right-wingers who are believing this. It's also Rick Scott.
Is he right? Should Republicans do more to reject conspiracy theories and dangerous rhetoric?
Sorry, to be clear, he says what we need to do is make sure people believe in our election. So a different type of phrasing, but a similar thought. The problem that matters is not saying conspiracy theories. It's we need to make sure people believe in our election process. Well, they only don't believe in it because of people like you.
I think what we have to do is, one, we have to condemn the violence, and then we have to do everything we can to get people, make sure people feel comfortable about these elections. You know, we've got to do everything we can to get people comfortable that this election in 9 days is going to be free and fair, that people's votes are all going to be counted fairly. They're not going to be diluted. And so that's one thing I've tried to do at the NRSC is get people to make sure we're ready. I tell people go to the polls, vote, go to the polls, and be poll watchers so you can see that these elections are going to be fair. And we've got to work on it every cycle, get it better every.
So on its face, you would watch that and you would think, yeah, it's fine. People should feel comfortable in our election. Awesome. Senator saying something perfectly reasonable. But within the context of this, it's actually so crazy because the question she asked was, specifically right now because of the Paul Pelosi attack, we're talking about, should you as a politician on the right and people within your movement and your party make more of an effort to reject conspiracy theories that are baseless? And his response is, listen, we got to condemn violence, but also we got to make sure people are comfortable with our election. And I'm like, I agree with you. I do want people to be comfortable with our elections. Guess what made them uncomfortable with them? Your party, not you in particular with Rick Scott, but the lies being told and then bolstered and not properly called out by people like you, that made a massive chunk of our country believe that our election process wasn't secure. So the solution is not to play into the lies more and say, no, I hear you. Yikes, we do got to fix that problem. Because you haven't provided any evidence that there's a problem. So how are we supposed to fix something that you haven't even convinced me that is broken? And it's super upsetting because we're hearing this time and time again from people who aren't even the craziest, most conspiracy theorist part of the Republican Party, but they use the line of, well, listen, I mean, I'm just concerned that a lot of people don't believe in our election process, and I just want to address that. And I think, people have a right to be worried, and we should address it for them. And we got to make sure, it's incumbent of us to make sure that people feel comfortable and don't think the election was stolen. No, it's not. It's incumbent on the people who told them it was stolen to stop telling them it was stolen. That's the only way they're going to change their mind. So aggravating.